Hi, I'm Piper Strong. I'm a metal artist and I've been doing fine craft metal objects for close to 15 years now. And I'm in Walden, Vermont, which is the Northeast Kingdom, a very rural, beautiful setting between two mountain ranges, the White Mountains and the Greens, and it's also in the snow belt. Luckily, I've taken up skiing. And I fell in love with really my property and the studio space that was on it, which was an old barn that I fixed up so that I could have a metal studio, and part of it's the paint studio, which are completely different areas. And from there, I've done this line of fine craft for 15 years. At 5, I would stand around on my farm. My dad had a 100-acre horse farm. He was an equine vet. And stand around on the racetrack when they would be jogging these horses with my easel up and my paint pad, and I would paint them as they went by. And no one would complain, even though I was spooking everybody, you know, to just let, you know, oh, Doc's kid is painting us, you know, going around the track. And so I grew up there and in a rural setting in New Hampshire. It's now changed immensely. It's actually really populated. And there's no longer the 100-acre farm by any means, but it was a wonderful experience. And I think my love of animals and color all came out of that experience, and especially with someone that was caring for them and bringing them back to life. And all that, and working alongside really my dad and the different animals that came through the farm. There was like a menagerie of like thousands of different kinds of animals, and so that was wonderful. And from there I decided to go to Portland School of Art, which was close to where I grew up. Portland wasn't that far away, in Maine, and there was a wonderful little school. And from there I went to Philadelphia, and I went to the University of Pennsylvania from there, and I was there for 3 years. I studied under Neil Welliver, Bob Eggman, and they were both incredible guys from the old school. Where I started was metal, and that was what really got me excited about sculpting, was working with the metal and making images out of it. It's such a hard material, but it defies gravity, and I really liked making things that came out of this fire and that I could build upon. And so after school I started a whole line of, first it was candle holders and lamps, and then I designed a whole line of menorahs that went out, first of all, to a gallery in Maine, which seemed like would be a small Jewish population, but people go to Portland, Maine from all over the world, and she was sending these menorahs all over the place. And then galleries that I never even heard about from places that I've never heard of would start calling me and telling me that they'd seen my menorahs at Nancy's and could I send some to them. And they became really specific to the areas where people were calling from at first, and now I'll send different images everywhere. So like for Nancy, I did things about Maine. I did a moose menorah. Believe it or not, there was like a lobster menorah that was very popular for a while, the dancing lobsters on it. So it has these brass highlights that you see, and then that's all that enamel that I had specially made from a company. It's her. This is one of the menorahs, is Jonah and the Whale. It's a favorite of mine. And I have a couple of Noah's Arks that I brought, different size ones. There's a big one down that I'll have, and then there's this tinier one. And also there's smaller pieces that I brought, some mezuzahs, which are funky and fun. So the Tree of Life. And here's a little shoe. I'm playing around with these. I did vases that were high heels, and the water goes in here and you can do a little bud vase with it. And I did some that were boots, mostly cowboy boots. Fun, more like a centerpiece. And here's another fun centerpiece, which is candle holders, and it's the women on the tightrope. I've done a whole line of circus people, and this was coming out of the end of that. And each one is always different every time I do it. So now I'm decided I'm going to work in the round, which is a whole new thing for me. After years of playing with a flat surface and making it feel like it was in the round, I've actually made a few figures that were, this summer they were recently in a show, the Exposed Show, which is a really fun show that they do in Stowe, Vermont every summer, and they were up all summer long. They were dancing muses, and each one of the girls, there were 3 of them, were hammered and completely in the round, like a big dancing figure, and each one had a different animal, and it was sort of a relationship between our relationship with animals, and they each had like a small animal. There was a bird and butterflies and a rabbit with those pieces. And that's where I'm going now, what I'm working on. From them, I did a series of smaller dancing figures that I sold this summer at different shows, and from there I got some commissions. I'm making a pair of gargoyles right now that are fun. Thinking more instead of the celebrating these little devils, and I've done 2 of those. You know, when a masseuse is not enough, you use these gargoyles, and really the woman I'm making for is that she's got that kind of sense of humor. So, in this area, of course, I already mentioned I sell to Colbo, which is right here, and they can also go to my website, which is www.strongmetalworks.com. You can also punch in Piper Strong, and you'll come up with maybe 6 different websites. Some are galleries all around the country. And if you need something special, any of them will contact me, and you know, we'll make up something special for you. And where else can you get me? I do shows, the Vermont handcraft shows. And you can go to that website, which is craftproducers.org.